For months, global trade has waited for the Strait of Hormuz to fully reopen, seeking relief from the costs of a grueling military conflict. That relief appeared to arrive last week when the U.S. and Iran finalized a ceasefire agreement aimed at ending the hostilities and resetting the region to a peaceful baseline. Almost immediately after the announcement, the Islamic Republic launched 4 one-way attack drones toward maritime vessels traversing the strait. American forces intercepted 3 of the incoming drones. The 4th struck the upper deck of a large cargo ship, causing structural damage before the vessel was able to proceed on its way. Before the ink on the Memorandum of Understanding was fully dry, the core terms of the agreement were broken, reintroducing kinetic violence to the shipping lanes. The administration's primary diplomatic achievement now faces an immediate test. The world is watching to see if this agreement has already collapsed, or if we are witnessing the violent baseline required to maintain it. On Friday, the U.S. military answered the drone attack. Central Command ordered a wave of retaliatory airstrikes against Iranian targets. The objective was precise degradation. U.S. aircraft targeted Iranian coastal radar installations, along with storage locations for their missile and drone fleets. Defense officials are characterizing these strikes as surgical enforcement measures, distinct from the major combat operations that defined the previous months of war. In response, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a counterclaim through state media, asserting they successfully fired back at U.S. military positions in the region, a claim the U.S. military has not confirmed. This exchange exposes a dangerous feedback loop. Isolated, kinetic strikes designed to enforce the terms of a ceasefire carry the constant risk of spiraling the region right back into open war. On the diplomatic front, Vice President Vance, who took a lead role in negotiating the agreement, addressed the immediate breakdown. Vance established a strict doctrine, declaring that any disagreements on how the Memorandum of Understanding is applied should be handled with a phone call, and warning that violence will be met with violence. The airstrikes serve as the mechanism of enforcement. The commander-in-chief offered a noticeable contrast in tone. Speaking from the Oval Office, President Trump projected confidence, actively minimizing the scale of the Iranian attack. He called the drone strike a foolish violation, but insisted that after months of U.S. military pressure, Iran's remaining capabilities are severely depleted, noting they still have some ability to shoot, but, quote, not much. When pressed by reporters on whether Iran would face further consequences for the strike, Trump embraced calculated ambiguity, leaving the official U.S. posture vague by responding only with, "You'll find out." The administration is attempting a precarious diplomatic tightrope. They are projecting an overwhelming willingness to use force to maintain the agreement, while trying to downplay the inherent vulnerability of the treaty itself. Stepping back from the immediate exchange of fire, the broader regional reality requires a reassessment of Iran's actual military standing. The launch of 4 drones, even after months of sustained military pressure, demonstrates that Iran's kinetic strike capabilities and the political will to use them remain intact. This diagram illustrates the geography of the Strait of Hormuz, where the intersecting strike ranges of coastal radar and drones create a persistent vulnerability for commercial shipping lanes. Because of this geographic reality, restoring pre-war traffic levels is unlikely in the near term. In this theater, a diplomatic agreement functions as a framework for managing tension, providing no physical protection against localized aggression. The region has entered a volatile gray zone, where the boundaries between total war and stable peace have become increasingly blurred. The war may be over on paper, but maintaining this arrangement currently relies on a repetitive cycle of kinetic military enforcement and high-stakes diplomatic brinkmanship.